Welcome, apprentices. I'm your friendly neighborhood Dungeon Master, and this is the Dungeon Master's Apprentice. And today we're talking magic. Waiting for my phone to load. Just waiting. In a previous video, we talked about the 6 questions every Dungeon Master needs to answer when beginning a new campaign. Number 5 was magic. If you've not seen that video, I suggest after watching this one, you go back to that one and watch it. You may not like the Wheel of Time series by Robert Jordan, like a good friend of mine who's also a subscriber, but you don't have to enjoy the magic system. But if you have read the series by Robert Jordan, then you already know everything there is about the tainted male half, the one power that flows through everything, the mighty Aes Sedai, and the breaking of the world. Well, we're not going to use any of that. Yes, we will be using a slightly modified version of the magic system from the D20 source book, The Wheel of Time RPG from Wizards of the Coast, but not much else. Like only a few other D&D worlds, my world is going to have only one magic system in it. And unlike in the D20 source book, The Wheel of Time RPG, I will not be having a male half and a female half of the magic source. I will only be having one source that all characters can use. In the original series, there are five different aspects of the magic. The spirit, earth, air, wind, and fire. With mine, I'm going to add a 6th time. Just for some flavor, I've assigned each element a color. So, fire, red, never would have guessed that. Blue for water, I'm so original. Air, yellow, think the sun. And green for Green Mother Earth. That leaves spirit, purple, how noble. And last but not least, it leaves orange for time. If you remember from a previous video that there was a cataclysmic event that ended a previous high magic civilization, and now that magic is looked down upon. But one of the beliefs that has carried through the eons is that the rainbow, you like that? The rainbow, since the rainbow has 6 colors, 3 primary and 3 secondary, the old religion looks upon that as a sign from the Creator that magic was given to them. In my world, magic is slowly and constantly generated by every living thing, slowly dripping off of it as if it was dew or rainwater, and then running along lines, magical lines in the ground that, ley lines if you want to think of it, that when 2 lines converge, they join into a larger line, and at every point where these lines converge is considered a node. And the larger the lines, of course, the larger the node. And now this mystical, magical liquid, when it converges into the largest nodes, seems to disappear into the ground, and thereby disappearing, and nobody currently living knows where it goes. Every spell, or mentioned in the RPG booklet, The Wheel of Time, every weave, but we'll be referring to them as spells. Every spell taps into these mystical energies that are everywhere. Of course, the higher level spells needs more energy, and the highest level spells need the most. So highest level spells can actually only be cast near a large node. Now, only mages can see this mystical liquid, and they can only see it when they are attuned to it. Mages, even when not attuned to the power, can sense when other mages nearby are attuned to the power, and can even feel when they are casting a spell. Spells are patterns, where the 6 elements are combined and manipulated into various shapes and sizes to create the effects that the spellcaster wants. And the known spells are sometimes very, very, very complex. But, and this is especially true for low-level spells, a very observant mage could attune himself to the power and watch the spell being cast, and thereby learn, for the most part, how it is put together. Then after a little experimentation and practice, could replicate that spell that he previously did not know. This is, of course, not possible in combat, but a hidden character watching a spellcaster, or a friendly spellcaster willing to show the player character a weave, or should I say spell, then he can learn it that way. One of the reasons I love this spell system is the idea of overcasting. The fact that if you have a lower spell slot, you can overcast and try to cast that more powerful spell because you're in a dire situation. Or you're in a dire situation and you have no spell slots available left, you can still try to cast that spell by overcasting with possible damage or even death to yourself. So there's danger in doing that, but it's possible. I love that. Now, I will explain the mechanics of my magic system in another video when I explain what character classes will be in my campaign. Now, this magic system and this type of magic, as you think about it, has so much potential for a campaign world. With all living things generating magic, maybe magic items that have a constant effect are tapped into this flow and need it to operate. So what happens if you go into a lifeless desert or some other place where magic has killed every living thing? There is no magic. Does the item still work? What a great way to have the characters work from a limited resource to try to overcome a big bad evil. Another thing I designed is that in the olden days, when this was a high-level fantasy campaign world, the mages of the world redirected these flows and where the nodes were, so that it created sort of thing of a power grid. And this power grid, of course, over the eons, has almost completely failed. But in the original area, where the first adventures are going to take place for our characters, the grid is still somewhat functioning. And that's due to the mystical caretakers that were created to take care of this grid. Can anyone say fae? Such as pixies, fairies, maybe something else? Don't know yet, but it sounds fun. And it adds a lot of belief why there's all these rumors of fairy circles or fae mounds out in the forest, and why that grid still exists. Nobody believes the villagers, but that's part of their lore. Well, that's it for this magic system for my world. What do you think? If you like it, hey, how about giving me a comment below? If you're enjoying this journey with me through creation of my campaign world, or the tips and tricks I give on how to DM any world, then please think of subscribing. And if you do subscribe, please hit that bell icon so that you get notified every time I upload new content. Until then, adventure on!